If you guys remember the MACD video, I compared it to a Swiss Army knife. MACD is an indicator that does multiple things, but none of them particularly well. And I actually got some pushback on that video because of the Swiss Army knife. But look, guys, you have an average blade, if that. You have another average blade here for some reason. You have scissors that are obviously crappy, a crappy corkscrew, a toothpick that's too big for most people's teeth. And you're going to stick up for this thing? It's like, really? Always be wary of indicators that attempt to do a lot of things. But every once in a while, you can find something that does two things, possibly really well, but you don't know until you test it. And we're going to do that today. Now, some of you indicator heads probably know what the TDFI is, but really that's not going to be the majority of you. So we are happy to bring this to you today. This was actually an older blog on Stonehill Forex, and I went and read it, and I told Dana, it's like, we got to do this. Way too cool, way too original. We got to see if it tests out well, and we are about to find that out. But first, if you're new, please enjoy the video. May not make a lot of sense, but understand there is no other channel out there doing what we're doing with indicators. 95 to 98% of Forex channels just fart around with price action all day, and have fun with that. This channel is where it's at, so go to nononsenseforex.com, read that first page, watch that first video, and you'll be well on your way. But for the rest of us, let's go ahead and get into things. Now, the year this was created was 1993. That is a few years before the 1996 cutoff that we like. But it's close enough. We're going to give it a try anyway. Now, the type does two things. This is a hybrid confirmation indicator and volume indicator, traders. Get ready for this. Now, subtype, I didn't really know what to call it. Just have the zero cross idea in your head. It's not really, but you'll see what we're talking about soon here. And in terms of being an exit indicator, when you first see this, I think you're going to get excited at the possibilities of it being an exit indicator, but from where I stand, I don't really like it for that purpose. But as always, feel free to try it. So let's take a look, shall we? Now, here's what's going on if it's not already obvious. Green is bullish. Orange is bearish. And then this middle territory here, I hope you guys can see it. If you're watching this on a phone, it might be a little difficult. I'm magnifying this thing as large as I can. This is your neutral territory. If price falls here, that is your volume indicator side of this thing, telling you not to trade. And if you can see, it's pretty nice. You have this whole area here that kept you out of this choppiness. Again, this is one example, but really nice so far. Now, as far as actual signals to go long or go short, how many of them do you see right now based on what I have told you? So when the indicator gets out of this neutral territory and into a colored territory, that is when you make a move. So it may look like there are only two, there are actually three. Let's look at that. You have this here, obviously, going from the neutral territory up into bullish territory for a long signal. Then it dipped back into the neutral zone and then came out of it again, giving you another long signal. Now, whatever exit indicator you use, this might have not even been an issue. You might have just gone long here and stayed long there. But as far as this particular version of this indicator goes, you would have gotten two long signals there and there. Got it? And it went back into the neutral territory. You can see there is no trade this entire time, which is trend traders. That's good news. And then it broke out here for a really nice short. And then creep back into neutral territory again, and this is yet to be seen. Now, as far as the settings go on this indicator, I have bad news, good news. Well, actually, really irrelevant news and then good news. The irrelevant news is you're going to find on this thing there are so many different settings to choose from. which can make things very confusing and make it really hard to test, or make it really long and time-consuming to test. But the good news is, only 3 of them really matter. You have a lot of stuff on here that for some reason just doesn't move the needle at all, or you just flat out don't need. And if you go to the actual blog down below in the description, Dan actually tells you what those things are. So very useful there. But let's go ahead and get into the testing results. Now, please understand, if you don't like the way we test, well, then go find a way to test it on your own. You should all be doing that anyway. And also know that you'll get 3 links down below in the description. I've already talked about one of them, but you will get my automation blog link that takes you to the automation blog, of course, and has a video there that shows you how to test this on your own. And you are probably going to want to with this one. Then the aforementioned blog from Stonehill Forex that really dives deep into this thing, shows the tweak settings that I don't show because the tweak settings are distracting and I don't want to sit there and explain them. So we keep it simple here, and if you want to know more, you know exactly where to go. And then a link to where you can actually download this for yourself. And then remember too, if you are a trader who prefers TradingView, I have a guy in this blog right here that will convert anything from MT4 to TradingView for a fee. So just remember that option is always on the table. So moving over to Euro USD, pretty nice. Default wasn't even in negative territory, so you had something really nice to work with, and we ended up with 2 pretty impressive ROIs at the end of the day, with really nice win-loss ratios too. Now, when it comes to win-loss ratios, we talked about this a little bit last week, but just understand, it's going to be a little more important in a currency pair like Euro USD compared to Bitcoin, because Forex pairs don't have the prolonged movements that cryptos, at least to this point, have had. So while in Bitcoin you could probably get away with like a 30% win-loss ratio and still do really well, that's going to be really tough to do in Forex, where things like that matter a lot more. Now on to gold, even better. Look at this. Gold traders, talk to me. Would you like to have that as a starting point before the rest of your algorithm even takes shape? I certainly would. Even better on the 4-hour, which we had said before was really the hardest place for any of us to find some real alpha in this whole series. So moving over to Bitcoin, also really good. Look at how high this starts just on its own. And then we make it better with some just really simple tweaks. Now again, I'm still getting this question, where are the tweaks? When you go to the blog, you are not going to see the exact same information you see here. You're going to see more, and it's going to be off to the side. Those are the tweaks. Stop pretending like you don't see them. But anyway, I would say, after looking at all these, across the board, as far as consistency goes, like being consistently good, this might be the top performer we've had to date in the Indicator Profile series. So feel free to take this one and run with it, traders. And in the meantime, we will keep putting out content for you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button. Don't miss anything. We're going to keep putting these out every Wednesday when we can. I have a great podcast every Saturday. And for those of you who stay to the end, you're going to get a little programming note here. I will likely be adding on even more content in the future. And you could very easily miss that if you don't subscribe and hit the bell. So do that. Test your indicators, build your empire, take over the world. Go get it.